A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. If you need a website or a domain, go to squarespace.com/James for 10% off your first purchase. That footage was from a very, very, very wet day in London last week. I was down in London for some meetings and to shoot as well, but I didn't get much shooting done because it was so wet. It was the sort of rain that soaks you through in literally seconds. So while I did have a weather-sealed camera, my new camera, I wasn't particularly weather-sealed. So I went and got a coffee after, 15-20 minutes. And didn't get the kind of conclusions that I wanted to get for the purposes of this video. Wasn't the end of the world though, because the next day I was going to Brighton and I was sure the forecast was going to be better by the seaside. Yeah, it wasn't. Luckily the next day, it was. So yeah, if you're relatively new to the channel and you've been following for say, I don't know, a couple of months, you might think that this is all about gear, this YouTube channel. It's not, it's about photography really, but basically I'm on the hunt at the moment for something to kind of complement my Sony setup, which is my A7R and 24-70, which I use for most of my stuff. And by complement, I mean it needs to be a camera lens setup that is a bit more interesting to shoot with. Doesn't have to match the output of this in terms of image quality. That would be very, very difficult to do, but yeah, it has to be fun, which I don't think this is, to me, at least. Now, I've tried various setups to make this happen. This is my Ricoh GR, which I've spoken about at length on this channel. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I've mentioned the sort of drawbacks, for me at least, which are a lack of weather sealing, which is important in Wales, and it doesn't have a viewfinder. And I find shooting with a viewfinder a much more immersive experience than shooting without one. And also, actually, preferably a viewfinder that's got rangefinder capabilities, because I really enjoyed the rangefinder experience when I used the Leica M11 in Cornwall a couple of months back in yet another gear video. And so with that criteria set, there was one sort of really quite obvious choice, which is this. This is the Fujifilm X-Pro 3. Absolutely no idea why it's got Pro in its name. Fujifilm themselves make several cameras which are arguably much more pro than this one. But I mean, they'll call anything pro these days, won't they? My headphones have got Pro in the name. No idea. But anyway, if you don't know anything about this camera, it is quirky, which is exactly what I was after. I mean, look at the back. Looks kind of like a film camera, doesn't it? Which I think is the point. This little screen here, basically useless. It shows you your settings and stuff, or your film, what's the word, simulation. Not quite up to date with the Fuji language yet. But yeah, in bright light, you can't really see it. In order to access a screen, you have to fold it down like that, which I quite like. Stops you chimping as much. Or it did me. Now importantly, this camera is weather sealed along with this lens. But just as importantly, as you might be able to tell, along with all my fingerprints, it's a rangefinder, or has rangefinder functionality. You can flick this lever for a conventional EVF if that's what you want. You can just switch between the two, which I did on that morning that I was talking about when the weather was good. In fact, let me just show you some footage and photos from that morning now. Just slide through these bins. Beautiful. You know when a word doesn't look like it's spelt right because it's in capitals? That doesn't look right to me. I think that scene also doesn't look massively dangerous. Maybe that's why. The light's nice though. In fact, I'm going to go down there. That looked pretty cool, and that is what a rangefinder is so good for. I don't know if you can see this on the GoPro, but let me just... So this is what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that. It's so good for being able to tell what is about to enter the frame, particularly with something like a 40 or a 50. because there's quite a lot of room outside the frame lines, so you can see what's going to happen before it happens, and that's invaluable. Absolutely mad. Fellow photographer. This blue one is just surrounded by red ones. It looks like they're ganging up on it. I think it does anyway. It's the simple things, especially in good light. The simplest stuff always looks the best. That's kind of funny by the sea. Caution, wet floor. Now, I don't really know what I was expecting to be able to do in terms of conclusions after a few hours with the camera, and those were my first few hours with this camera. What I can say is that they're some of the most fun hours I've ever had with a camera. Don't really know why. It could be because Brighton is a fantastic place to shoot. It could also be that the light was amazing, but I think also there's a good chance that the camera had a part to play as well. And I'm going to keep hold of this for a while just to see if the magic that I experienced the other morning stays. Magic's probably a bit strong, actually. It wasn't magic, I just enjoyed myself. Also, I did buy this camera. This is mine. I bought it without ever having tried it, which is a bit stupid. I don't typically like to do that, but a friend of mine said that if I didn't like it, he would have it. So I basically had a free hit. I don't think I'd have bought it otherwise, having not tried it. But yes, so far, he is going to be cameraless. Anyway, yes, I'll keep it for a little while. If you're after a quirky camera, check out the Fuji X-Pro 3. I heard the other week, actually, that this has been discontinued now. I don't know if that's the case, but there'll be plenty on the second-hand market, I'm sure. Check out MPB. Anyway, thanks for watching. A few more gear videos to come because I have some other setups to test out as well. Yeah, if you don't like gear videos, perhaps have a bit of a rain check from the channel over the next few weeks. I won't be offended, I do get it. Gear videos can get a little bit boring, but I'm on the hunt and I feel like we've got a good contender there. Sorry? You want a website? Good news. This video has been sponsored by Squarespace. I need to work on my acting. Basically, if you are after a website, whether it be to show off your portfolio, for an online store maybe, or for a blog, whatever it is, Squarespace is a fantastic place to look because they've got loads and loads of templates to suit all kinds of websites, and I've had mine for sort of 7 or 8 years now, I think, and I love it. In fact, I've just put a couple of the images from this video up, and I did so without having to do any coding or anything like that. Which is handy because I don't know how to do any coding or anything like that. Basically, Squarespace for the most part is sliders and drag and drop, and it's all very, very simple to use, and that's one of the reasons I love it so much. I don't have to worry about image resizing, about how it looks on a mobile device. Squarespace takes care of everything. And so if you're looking for somewhere to showcase your work, I'd recommend going to squarespace.com to start your free trial. And after that, if you'd like to make a purchase, you can save 10% off of that first purchase by going to squarespace.com/James. And a big thank you to Squarespace for their continued support of this channel into the new year. Right, I am going to go and have a sandwich. Or a pro sandwich, maybe. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure there is one.